Hey my mates, hope you had a good weekend and let me know how you played. It really looks like the game's settling down nicely. Obviously you had a couple of weeks of poor health there, but really looks quite good. A very cool session that you did there. I think that was on Thursday or Friday last week. Covering a lot, learning a lot. I think we're starting to understand a little bit more about low point, a little bit more about angle of attack. And you're starting to make the adaptation. So if I start there with the low point drill, with the towel behind, first two were a little bit dodgy, and then you were able to make the adjustments as you went through and start to catch. There were two or three there where it was such a beautiful ball first, and then divot strikes. Okay, and I really like those. It looked really good. And again, your ability to adapt through the session, through the drill, really good. So some of the 3 woods, and definitely those low point ones, okay, the sequencing was a little bit of an issue. All right, so this week we're going to leave the slide because there was little to no sliding throughout any of the videos or any of the shots. So we're going to leave that for this week. Retouch on that sequencing, because when you did opposite direction drill, you really got into this really beautiful strike position. Okay, the one kind of that we've been looking for, right? So I really like it. So we're going to focus a little bit more on that, and then keep doing this drill. And then the high-low also looking quite good, all right? And start feeling the difference of when you're high, how shallow the club is, and when you're low, how much more upright the club is, because that's important for us in the rest of the game. You tend to get a bit shallow, obviously because of sequencing, because of a bit of a slide. You tend to get a little bit too shallow with your shorter clubs, sort of 8 iron downwards, let's call it, right? So these are good things to sort of feel and figure out. Okay. The ground did look quite wet, all right, but it is fine in the beginning doing that low point drill if some of the divots are a little bit too deep. Okay, so don't stress about that. It will figure itself out. And then when I checked between the 8 iron and the 5 iron, the 5 iron divots were way shallower, way not as deep, thinner. Yeah. Okay. So the one or two of that pitching wedge, and even maybe the 8 irons, the divot was deep, and it might have felt steep to you. Okay, but it really wasn't. It really wasn't. Okay, so either the ground's a little bit wet, or we will learn how to just drop the depth of that divot later with the short clubs. All right, so overall, very happy. Driver swing was amazing. It was just amazing. First one slightly dodgy with the shoulder plane at the end of the backswing, and then from there it was amazing. Great shoulder plane, great sequence, no sliding, beautiful delivery position, both angle of attack and path. Looked really awesome. So well done. Okay, well done. Right, so into this week's work, we're going to do high and low alternations again. Alternate. Okay, but I want to do with a little bit of center striking, please. So you can do tees or balls. Okay, remember it's just a little bit offset. So there are my markers. The ball is actually out in front. Okay, so it's not like that. It's like that. Well, I mean, I'm using balls. You can just use tees, but the tees must go either side of the club. I know it's a little bit tricky because you take divots and you keep moving. Okay, but just get something set up there, and then remember the ball's just always slightly out towards the toe side. Okay, so then high ones, if I can do high ones here with this 6 iron. Ah, okay. And then obviously your low ones. Kind of closer, more upright. All right, but just with some center striking, please. Okay, just a couple off the toe. Mostly the high one, but just a couple off the toe. All right, and then into gap wedge and pitching wedge with the low point. All right, but the focus now, I mean, obviously now that you've done it a couple of times, club it in a half. All right, then it's fairly obvious and less deliberate to miss the towel. You kind of want to miss it, and you want to catch ball turf. So focus a little bit more on the sequencing for me, please. All right, so hips to start opening just before the end of the backswing. All right, so hips to get open before we finish that backswing. Get that sequencing and low point working together. Okay. Actually, you had a couple of follow-throughs like that, didn't you? They were looking, some of those follow-throughs were looking really, really cool. All right. Okay, so then into our swing work. Okay, so we're going to do opposite direction draw. I loved it. Loved opposite direction draw. So first round, we're going to do opposite direction draw. All right. Then second round, I want to do start line draw. Okay, so get those, remember, not too far out in front of you. Get them on your target line. Okay. Right, you can use alignment sticks as well. Okay, I mean, you can use clubs as well, right? You can use 2 clubs as well. All right, obviously, like I say, get them out in front of you. The reason I don't is there's a little drop off here, but you could use, do it like that. You could use clubs as well. Okay, I have to use another club to hit with. No, it's not. Let's just put that one there. Okay, and what I want to do here, maybe 5 of each. I know you like doing rounds of 5. Maybe 5 each. So 5 8 irons, 5 6 irons, 5 4 irons. Okay, so your even clubs. And what I want you to see is, or what I want you to track is how many started on line, and then also where they finished. Okay, so when they start a bit left, are they finishing left, or are they coming back, finishing right? When they start right, which I guess I think is more prevalent for you, do they stay right, do they come back, etc., etc. And just we're at that point now where I think like this low point, like this developing this high and low short game, the end result is a little bit more important right now. Our golf swing and the way it works is just so much better than it used to be, and it's just so good. So just sort of training these angles visually. Okay, starting the ball on line. Okay, so we're happy with that. Started on line and it went. Oh, okay, and just start sort of figuring it out. Okay, I think if you get this alignment and start line worked out consistently out on the golf course, all right, this greedy regulation stats should start really picking up now. Okay, so very happy with that. And then last draw, 3-wood and driver. I mean, I'm happy for you to try the spine angle, maintaining the spine angle thought with the 3-wood as well. It was close, all right, but it works so well with the driver. It might just be a case of 3-wood has to be shoulder plane. Okay, it has to be shoulder plane. All right, but kind of pretty much whatever you did with the driver, or maybe try both with the 3-wood. Try a few with the shoulder plane and a few just overall trying to maintain that spine angle, and just see how they feel. And then you just got to stand a little bit closer with that 3-wood. Okay, just stand a little bit closer to the ball with the 3-wood. Driver looks good. Okay, so that's where we're at. Again, a nice sort of varied session, lots of little things to think about, but that's kind of where we're at. And we can now start taking these things to the golf course. So on the tee box, okay, get the right foot forward, make sure of my alignment, distance from the ball, and then we keep that spine angle, little things like that, right? And then irons, obviously, okay, where we're at, a little bit of start line, just dialing those in because, as I say, the golf swing, the sequence, and the weight shift all looks like it's dialing in very nicely. All right. Thanks, my mates. Keep it up. Lots to do there. But there always is. But now we're just tinkering here and there and learning little bits of how to execute each sort of shot slightly differently, isn't it? It's the same swing, but it's just slightly different. All right. Thank you, my mate. Talk to you during the week.